2008.
Yeah.
We're reaching there.
Yeah. So then I did a few more. So I did Eventbrite. Actually, I did half my time with Dropbox and half my time with Eventbrite.
Okay.
And so Eventbrite also became a $1 billion company. And then...
Well, you should help us here in our company, because every company you have reached a $1 billion valuation.
I wish I could say it happened forever, but I think there was some luck along the way too. And then after the 6 months with those two companies, I did two more companies, one called Socialcast and one called Lookout. And so Socialcast only got acquired for a few $100 million, unfortunately. But I'll still be happy with that. Yeah. So VMware acquired them, but Lookout also reached the $1 billion valuation. And Lookout's an interesting one because when I ran that survey that said, we're almost to 2010.
Almost.
When I ran that survey that said, how would you feel if you could no longer use this product? At Lookout, only 7% of the people said they'd be very disappointed.
Really?
Yeah, and I already committed to...
What did this company make?
They're security software for mobile devices. So they basically did firewall, antivirus, back up your data, find your lost phone, a lot of the pieces that are still in phones now, like baked into them. But at that time, it was still pretty novel, new ideas. And so I ran this question, and 7% of the people said they'd be very disappointed. So 93% wouldn't really care if the product went away. And I thought, oh man, I'm committed to work with these guys for 6 months. I should have asked this question before I joined them. But I was able to, again, study the 7%. And in 2 weeks, we made enough changes so that within 2 weeks, the next group of people who came through and tried the product were at 40% saying they'd be very disappointed. And then in 6 months, it was at 60%.
But how did you make it? Like, you made the questions. You discovered that 7% of those people who actually were clients were not so happy about that. Actually,
it's the opposite.
It's
so
the opposite.
7% basically said this is a must-have product.
Okay, so 93% didn't care at all.
Didn't care, yeah.
But and when you discovered that, what was the first act, the first thing you made?
So the fastest thing I did was I asked those people, the people who said they'd be very disappointed with, I said, what is the main benefit you get from this product? Okay. And as I mentioned, the product did a lot of things, but these 7% were focused on the antivirus. They said, this product protects my phone from viruses, so I'm not worried about viruses anymore. Okay. And so that told me that, okay, the antivirus is what we need to focus on. People know this on their computers. They want to protect from viruses. So it's easy for them to say, I need to protect my phone from viruses as well. And so then it was very easy to just change the messaging to say, protect your phone from viruses. Like, you don't have to worry about viruses anymore on your phone. So now we created the right expectation for new users when they came in. And then we also changed the onboarding. So instead of coming in and you could back up your data, you could set up your firewall, you could do all these things. The very first thing we had them do was set up the antivirus.
Okay, so the two main things you made were changing expectations, or aligning expectations, and improving the onboard.
Yeah. So make a promise about what the product is truly great at doing in the eyes of the customer, and then very quickly deliver the benefit of that promise. And so when we did those two things, we asked the next group of people who went through this flow, and 40% of them said, I would be very disappointed without this product, and then continued to iterate on that. So the first, getting from 7% to 40% only took 2 weeks. From 40%, 2 weeks. From 40% to 60% took another 5 months. But wow, it's still, and then that company also became worth $1 billion, and it took maybe 3 or 4 years for that to reach the $1 billion valuation. And so it was around that time that I was now in Silicon Valley for maybe a year and a half already. And then I start to talk to other marketers, and nobody was approaching growth this way. People were, marketing was almost a bad word in Silicon Valley. Like the the technologists were the ones who founded all the companies and led the companies. Marketing was this like, oh, too bad we have to have these people. And even the product team was like, can't wait till we make the product so good we don't need marketing anymore. Yeah. And so, yeah, but there was a few that I looked around that were actually doing it similar to how I was doing it. So I saw that Facebook had a lot of data and experimentation. When I talked to people who were on the Facebook team, LinkedIn had a lot of data and experimentation. So it turned out that these businesses that kind of needed a lot of people before they could start earning money had to be really creative about how they grew. And so that became baked into their culture early. And so when I saw that, I saw what I was doing, I said, we need to stop calling this marketing. We need to put a different name on this.
This was the time then.
This was the time. And I invited a couple of friends to have some drinks with me. And I was like, guys, we need to put a name on this. And I remember one of the guys saying, you don't just come up with a name. It doesn't work like that. And I'm like, I think this needs a name. And so I left the meeting and said, okay, we're going to call it growth hacking. Then I went.
You said it.
Yeah. And then I said, let's I'm going to write a blog post saying, you need to hire a growth hacker for your startup. And it got some interest. And then Andrew Chen, the investor, Silicon Valley investor with Andreessen Horowitz now, but a more popular blogger than me at the time, not too long after wrote a blog post, growth hacker is the new VP of marketing. And so he amplified it a lot. And then within just a few months, there was like more than 1,000 job listings for growth hackers. Like all the startups wanted to hire growth hackers, and that's really what started the whole process.
So what were you guys drinking to come up with that name? Beer? Wine?
We weren't even drinking alcohol. It was just like mint juleps.
Juice? Juice?
Mint juleps.
Mint juleps? What is that?
I don't even know.
Mint julep.
It's like I think they don't have alcohol in them, but I wouldn't have even remember what we were drinking, but one of the other guys said we were drinking mint juleps that day.
So you understood that there was something going on very different from marketing, and you called it growth hacking.